When people hear capture, they imagine handcuffs, helicopters, a public arrest. That never happened. What actually happened is more dangerous, more chaotic, and far more revealing. Because the US did not rely on one plan, they ran parallel operations, military pressure, DAA stings, defections, private contractors, psychological warfare. This episode breaks down the operation themselves, what worked, what failed, and how close they really came. This is Denzel, and this is the World of Intrigue. Before helicopters, before raids, before failed missions, there was paperwork, a lot of it. For years, US agencies were watching Venezuela, quietly, patiently. The DAA was already inside the story, not in Caracas but around it. They focused on people close to the president, generals, intelligence officers, bodyguards, businessmen. Not Maduro first, never the main target first. That's how these operations work. The US believed something important. Their drugs were not just passing through Venezuela, they were being protected. According to US investigators, cocaine shipments moved with military help, planes, ports, fake documents. This network had a game, the cartel of the Suns. It wasn't one cartel, it was a system. The strategy was simple: do not touch the president yet, touch everyone around him. US agents tracked phone calls, money transfers, travel patterns. Some suspects traveled abroad. That's when arrests happened. Spain, Italy, the Caribbean. One by one, people disappeared from Maduro's circle. Then came the pressure. Those arrested were given choices: talk or spend decades in prison. Some talked, not at all, but enough. Names were mentioned, routes were explained, meetings were described. Slowly, prosecutor began connecting the dots, and every dot led upward. By 2019, the case was big, very big, too big to stay quiet. In March 2020, the US made a public move. They indicated Nicolás Maduro as sitting president, not symbolically, criminally. The charges were serious: drug trafficking, narco terrorism, conspiracy to send cocaine into the United States. This was not normal diplomacy, this was law enforcement language. Maduro was now treated like a cartel boss. Then came the bounty, $15 million, for information leading to his arrest. That number mattered. It sent a message to generals, to guards, to pilots. Anyone close could become rich overnight. Trust inside the regime started to crack. Maduro reached it fast. Security increased. Movements became unpredictable. Meetings were shortened. He stopped trusting phones, then people. Even allies were watched. A president acting like a hunted man. But here's the key point. This operation was not about arresting him immediately. It was about making capture legal. If Maduro ever left Venezuela, any cooperating country could arrest him. If someone handed him over, the US had the paperwork ready. The trap was set. This first operation changed everything. From that moment, Maduro could not travel freely, could not trust fully, could not relax. He was still president, but legally, he was already a target. And this was only the beginning. After that, the US changed tactics. They stopped looking outside Venezuela. They looked inside. Because one truth was clear: Maduro does not rule alone. He survives because the military protects him. So the next operation focused on one thing: the general. US intelligence had a theory. If the general falls, the president falls. No invasions needed, no public attack, just pressure. Sanctions became weapons, not against the country, against individuals. Bank accounts frozen, properties seized, visas cancelled, generals could not travel, families could not study abroad, money stopped moving. The message was silent but very clear. At the same time, another message was sent privately: defect and you are safe. Stay loyal and face prison. Some officials listened very carefully. In 2019, something unusual happened. Senior figures started to leave. Intelligence chiefs, military commanders, former insiders. They did not run randomly. They ran to specific places: the United States, Spain, Colombia. That was not an accident. Some defectors spoke publicly, others stayed quiet. But behind closed doors, they were interviewed. Long interviews about Maduro, about security, about routines. Who guards him? Who trusts whom? Who could turn? This was not gossip. This was operational intelligence. At one point, US officials believed they were close, very close. Reports suggested that top military leaders were ready to move. The plan was simple: remove Maduro internally, arrest him inside Venezuela, hand him over, no US troops, no foreign boats, a clean solution. Then it collapsed. At the last moment, someone hesitated, someone talked, someone leaked. No one knows who, but Maduro found out. The reaction was brutal. Officers were arrested, others were fired, some disappeared from public life. Loyalty test followed. Maduro tightened control. Trust vanished. After that, no general trusted another. Every meeting felt dangerous. Every phone call felt recorded. The operation failed, but it left damage. Here's why this part matters. The US learned something important. Maduro was vulnerable, but paranoid. He could be reached, but not easily, and time was not on his side. From that moment, operations became more aggressive. If generals could not deliver him, others would try, and that led to the most reckless plan of all: a direct capture attempt by force. This was the most dangerous plan, the most reckless, and the most exposed. It was called Operation Gideon. This operation was different. No diplomats, no quiet pressure. This time the plan involved guns and boats. The idea was simple: land on Venezuela coast, move fast, reach Caracas, capture Nicolás Maduro, not kill him, just capture him. That was the goal. The people involved were unusual: former Venezuelan soldiers, opposition fighters, and former US special forces, not active US military, private contractors. That deal matters. The operation was organized by a private security company. It's called Silver Corp USA. Its leader promised something big. He said Maduro would fall in days. He said the military would switch sides. He said people inside Venezuela were ready. But from the beginning, things were wrong. The group lacked money, they lacked equipment, they lacked secrecy, and worst of all, the plan was leaked. Venezuelan intelligence knew about it. Days before the boats arrived, maybe weeks, Maduro forces were waiting. In May 2020, the boats came, small boats. At night, the fighters tried to land on the coast. They never stood a chance. Government forces intercepted them. Gunfire broke out. Some attackers were killed, others were captured. 2 Americans were taken alive, former US Green Berets on camera. The world watched. Maduro appeared on television. He held up passports, he laughed. He said the US was behind the attack. Washington denied it strongly, and technically they were right. There was no official US approval, no Pentagon order, no CIA signature, but the damage was done. Operation Gideon was a disaster, but it revealed something important. People truly believed Maduro could be captured, that his security was not perfect, that chaos could open a door. After the raid failed, Maduro changed everything. Security doubled, routes changed, trusted guards were replaced. He became harder to reach, way much harder. For the US, this was a lesson. Raids were too risky, private forces were unreliable. Capture would not come from chaos, it would come from patience. Operation Gideon ended one phase, the phase of force. What followed was quieter, more strategic, the more dangerous in the long run, because now the US focused on one thing: waiting for a mistake. That brings us to part 4, the final strategy: airspace, travel, isolation, the trap that never closes fast but always closes eventually. After the raid failed, everything slowed down. No more boats, no more sudden moves. The strategies changed. The US stopped chasing Maduro. They waited because now they had something powerful: law. From this moment on, Maduro had a problem. He was indicted publicly. That meant one thing. If he left Venezuela, he was vulnerable, very vulnerable. The US began working with allies, quiet talks, private pressure. Some countries were warned, if Maduro's plan lands here, you arrest him. No announcement, no press releases, just understanding. Airspace became a weapon. Flight routes were tracked, permissions delayed, clearance denied. Sometimes Maduro canceled trip at the last minute. Sometimes his plane turned back mid-flight. This was not coincidence. Every foreign visit became a risk. Africa, Europe, even friendly countries. Any stop could turn into detention. Maduro knew it. That fear changed everything. He stopped traveling often. What he did, security was extreme. Decoy planes, last-minute changes, secret routes, a president flying like a bird that is afraid from falling down. This was not about arresting him tomorrow. It was about closing exits. Slowly, carefully, one door at a time. At the same time, pressure inside Venezuela continued. Sanctions stayed. Money stayed frozen. Defectors kept leaving. Every defection weakened him, not publicly, but in a very structured way. The US did not need headlines anymore. They had time because leaders like this fall when they feel safe, when they travel, when they trust, when they relax. This strategy has a name: containment. No rush, no noise, just waiting for the mistake. So why hasn't it happened yet? Because Maduro learned he rarely leaves, he trusts fewer people, he moves carefully, but that also means something else. He is trapped. Trapped inside his own country, unable to escape, unable to normalize relations, unable to reset his image. A president boxed in by law. This is how modern capture works. Not with soldiers first, but with documents, airspace, banking system, and patience. And history shows something clear. No leader survives this forever. The moment will come, and when it does, there will be no chase, only paperwork. It's done. Nicolás Maduro is in US custody, a sitting president taken by force. History has really seen this. Inside Venezuela, chaos spreads, generals scrambled, allies rethink loyalty, the streets are tense. For the United States, this is a victory, a major narco boss, finally behind bars. But the world is watching, allies condemned, enemies celebrated, and the stage for Venezuela's future is uncertain. This arrest changes everything: the balance of power, the politics, and the message no one is untouchable. The question now, what happens next? Who rises in Venezuela, and how will the world react? The story is far from over, but one thing is clear: a president has fallen, and history will remember it.